All right, looks like recording is started. I'm not sure if I'm going live or if I'm recording this. It's supposed to allow me to do a little banner. It looks like I'm going on to X with this as well. So it looks like they changed a lot of stuff on StreamYard, so I'm trying to figure it out. But what I got here today is just kind of a lot of stuff posted on X, but this one kind of cracked me up because it keeps coming up over and over and over again. Blackstone competing with first-time home buyers or vice versa. Blackstone is buying all these single-family homes and chewing up all the inventory, so the first-time home buyers can't buy houses. Is there truth to that? Some truth, right? They are buying some houses. Are they buying as many as are perceived? No. So this is kind of what triggered it off. So Blackstone didn't buy 274,000 homes to be landlords. They spent 1 trillion turning homeownership into subscription housing. They are creating a generation that will own nothing and rent everything. While families dream of white picket fences, Wall Street dreams of permanent tenants. Sort of. This next generation is probably going to be a lot of renters, but it's not Blackstone. It is probably the student loans, probably the student debt that's preventing these buyers from getting in. It's also the lack of jobs. The economy is not expanding like it should. We're kind of frozen right now. So there are issues with this younger generation getting into housing. And then the main reason is that we did not build enough housing. We set limits on what we could build. So now just to take a look at the institutional investor ownership as a percentage of total single family housing stock, institutional owners own only 0.5% of the housing out there. There are private owners like myself that own, a bunch of single family homes that take up a larger percentage. But as far as the large institutional investors, only 0.5% of the housing stock is owned by them, and 0.06% is owned by Blackstone. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a big Blackstone fan or anything like that. But the irony is the people complaining about this, they're probably causing this in some regard, not from their student loans and stuff that they can't qualify, but their 401ks, their investments. Some of that may reach Blackstone. A lot of the private companies are going to stick to the mutual funds and stocks and the traditional investment. But if they're going into REITs, or if they're in a public pension system, that money probably is going into firms like Blackstone that is contributing to what they perceive as chewing up all the housing. It's not as big a problem by these institutional investors as is portrayed. It's kind of the boogeyman. We do have a problem in housing, and that's we're not building enough housing. They'll say, oh yeah, we have more housing than ever before out there, but not for our population growth or our household formation. And there are markets where it is a little oversaturated right now, but not long term. So people will cite, certain statistics that aren't quite accurate. We've got about 1.2 million homes for sale, and then there's a new stat out there that says we have over 2.5 million homes for sale. I don't know where they're coming up with that number, but that's the new number they're touting out there. So, take it with a grain of salt. Bottom line is housing's getting expensive because the value of the dollar is dropping, because we printed 40% more dollars. We didn't build enough housing, and interest rates are high. And this generation's getting socked, and I do feel bad for them. But keep in mind, for if you're in that younger generation, the boomers actually technically had it worse, affordability. They were 28% less affordable in 1982 than we are today, because interest rates were between that 16 and 17.5%. Now you could buy a house for like 65,000, but your income wasn't very high. So that affordability index was way down. And then, we all look back on time and say the boomers had it easy because they bought these houses for 60, 70,000, and now they're worth, 500,000. Well, inflation chewed up that difference, and inflation's going to do the same thing for this generation, but it's hard starting out. So it's just, it's a rough go right now. The markets will shift and come back in line, but you can't sit there and blame institutional investors for these woes. It's more to it than that. So those were my thoughts today, and I'm kind of playing around with the new updates on the software. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'm sure I'll get a lot of angry feedback on this one. So talk to you later. Have a good one.